It is time for another vlog, this time by the sea. I'm sitting here with Kali, and today's topic is gonna be how God is evil. And it's quite fitting because literally everything on my trip has went horribly wrong. And before this trip I prayed to Kali that, she would keep me safe and make sure that things go well. But every single thing has went wrong. The original plan was to stay in the mountains, and the moment we arrived, the weather just turned shit. Like 3 weeks in in the forecast, it would just rain. So there was just no point in staying in the mountains at all. And that was my original plan, and that went completely down the drain. So instead, I went to the ocean, and I figured maybe I can catch some fish here. And Monday I've been fishing 3 hours. Yesterday I've been fishing 2 hours, and today I've been fishing I think 5 hours, and I've caught nothing. Literally nothing. All I've got is some goddamn seaweed right here, which is delicious, but not a single fish. I have literally seen 5 fish, like together in a group, swimming around my hook. They were just like looking at it, staring at it. Sometimes they would charge directly at it and then just stop right in front of it and not bite it. I literally feel like I'm being trolled, and I think I am, like genuinely. The moment I arrived here at the Kristiansand, I went to hike. And Charlie told me to go off-road. She said it would be way more fun, right? Instead of just following the trails. And I figured, why not? And then I went off-road, and immediately I got lost. And the grass in this area is like, it goes up to your goddamn knees. It's so tall. And the ground underneath is very like uneven. So it was hell to go through, and I stumbled like 3 times. With 40 kilos on my backpack, landed on my goddamn hands. I had to get up again, alright? And then I figured, okay, I going off-road was a horrible idea. I gotta get back on the path. And then I do. And it takes me like half an hour to get back on the path. And then there's a river between me and the path. So I gotta go all the way around this river. And it takes me like another 10 minutes. And then finally, when I'm back on the path, I realize I'm out of water and I'm thirsty. So I go into this river to get myself some water. And before going to this river, I told Kati this has been the worst day of hiking ever so far. And she said it has been the worst day of hiking ever so far. And then she says it could get worse, right? So I go and get water after she has just told me this. I put my foot like on the ground next to the river, and then I realize it's not a river, it's a swamp. And my feet, they just go right through, and I had mud all over my feet. So literally everything on this trip has just been going wrong. It's cursed. Even I have this like tea bottle that I used to cook hibiscus tea for her, and it broke as well. And then my mom calls me and she's like, by the way, William, we forgot that your granddad's birthday is in 2 weeks and you gotta be home before then. My original plan was to be in Norway for like a month, but now I can only be here for a few weeks. So everything has went horribly wrong, and she's just laughing. God is not good. Like we have this idea, particularly in Western and Abrahamic religions, that God is good, and it's Satan and like evil spirits or whatever that does the evil things. And Hinduism, like on the surface, people sort of believe that, but if you dig into Hinduism and its roots and yoga, you see that very often God is described as being not exclusively good. Kali has her yoginis, and her yoginis are known to like prank people or try to seduce men and do horrible things, right? Shiva very often gives blessings to the asuras, the devils. And Shiva's ganas are often described as like misshapen or somewhat demonic creatures. Even in the Bhairavashtakam, it's said that he's followed by ghosts and goblins. Even in the Kalika Purana, it says that Shiva is followed by goblins, like these little evil creatures. So in Hinduism, it is known that God isn't exclusively good. Kali in particular, because Kali is literally she who is dark. Kali means she who is dark. Kali means dark, and Kali means the female darkness, she who is dark. So she's not good. In fact, she's bad. She's horrible. And as her devotee, you don't get spared. In fact, she will start to prank you more. She will start to mess with you more. She will sometimes be more evil to you, but you learn to enjoy it. You learn to see the beauty in it. What would life be without everything going wrong, right? You can't have a movie or a story without a supervillain, and you can't have a story or a life without evil, without things going wrong. And it's exactly when life goes wrong that it is memorable, you know? You don't remember the good days. You don't remember the days that everything goes according to plan, that everything is perfect. You remember the days that everything goes wrong. And Kali, she gives you a life that you will remember. It's also often said that as a devotee of Kali, you have to be a Veera, you have to be a warrior. You have to have this mentality that like whatever life throws at you, you just keep moving, right? Because she's gonna knock you down again and again and again, and she's gonna laugh, and you have to get back up. And if you do, eventually, like you'll learn a lot, and you'll become a strong person. And most importantly, you will be humbled, and your ego will be broken. She makes sure, absolutely sure, to humble you. And whenever you get a little bit prideful, whenever you have too high expectations of life, whenever you take life for granted, she's gonna put you down again, and she's gonna laugh until you learn to laugh at yourself. So in yoga, it's commonly understood that God isn't exclusively good. God isn't exclusively evil. In the Abrahamic religions, in Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, and also like in some smaller faiths, you have this idea that God is only good, and that everything bad that happens is because of the devil or because of Satan. But then that begs the question, who made Satan? Who made the devil, right? If God is the one who creates everything, then who created the devil? And if God is omnipotent, then why can't he just destroy the devil? If God is, if God truly cares about us, and if God wants to eradicate suffering, then why doesn't he just destroy the devil? Look at the world. Look at how much suffering and war and, horrible things are going on. If God is omnipotent, then apparently he isn't doing anything about it. And so the only explanation as to why there is suffering in the world, in the Abrahamic worldview, would be that either God can't fix the world or God doesn't want to, God doesn't care, right? Either God doesn't want to fix the world or God doesn't love the world. You will always have this these mental gymnastics in Abrahamic religions, essentially, trying to explain how God is good but bad things happen. In Hinduism and yoga, they don't, try to delude themselves. They just say God is evil. God is everything. And God does all the horrible things too. You cannot explain how suffering exists if it wasn't God who made it. You can say it's the devil, but then who made the devil? And why doesn't God stop the devil, right? Either God can't stop the devil or God doesn't want to. You have to conclude that if suffering exists, it's because God lets suffering exist. Or maybe God is responsible for it. Maybe God doesn't just let it happen, maybe they make it happen. In the Kalika Purana, Brahma is worshipping Mahamaya, you might say the primordial aspect of Kali, the aspect of Kali which is the entire game of life itself. And she tells, when worshipping Mahamaya, that she is both the source of wisdom and the source of ignorance. She is both Vidya and Avidya. She is both the one who brings enlightenment and the one who brings delusion. She is both the one who frees people from samsara, from the world, from worldly delusions, and the one who fools them into being in the world. So she Maya, Mahamaya, is the one who fools you. She pranks you, she deludes you, she lies to you, okay? She's full of shit and you should never believe her. She's not a good goddess. She isn't necessarily here to free you, to be good to you. She is here to mess around with you. She is here to create a play. And for that play to happen, she has to fool people. She has to lie to them. And in order for this play to have meaning, horrible things have to happen. You can't have a movie or a story without a supervillain or without something going wrong, right? There has to be a plot, there has to be drama, and you can't have a story without drama. Humans haven't made a single movie or a single story where everything goes according to plan. There's always something horrible that happens. We have never had a movie that's like some dude gets a good paying job and a happy wife, and then they make a family and get everything they ask for and live happily ever after, right? We literally don't have a movie about a perfect life because that would be boring. On the other hand, we have plenty of movies and stories about drama, about supervillains and superheroes, about conflict, about war, because that is what is exciting, right? There has to be darkness, there has to be evil in life for it to make sense and to exist. And you will also see that like in folk myth, especially Shiva, he's not a good deity either. He's not a good god. He's the destroyer. He's the one who destroys creation, right? Brahma creates, Vishnu preserves. They are the good guys, so to say. But Shiva, he destroys, right? And there are plenty of scriptures or even like folklore where Shiva gives blessings to the asuras. The most famous one is probably Raktabija. Raktabija is the demon that Kali ends up slaying because he has a boon where every drop of blood that flows from him turns into a copy. So like if you cut him and he bleeds and the blood hits the ground, his blood will turn into a new copy of him. So the deities couldn't destroy him. He was undefeatable, right? Because the more you try to fight him, the more he bleeds, the more copies of himself he makes. So he's, infinite. And the solution was that Kali came along and she would just drink all the blood. So not a single drop hit the ground, and eventually they defeated him because she drank all his blood before it could multiply. That is one of the most famous stories of Kali, her slaying Raktabija. And it is Shiva who gave that boon, that blessing to Raktabija. And there are many more like it, where Shiva gives a blessing to an asura, and that creates a war between the gods because the devils finally stand a chance. And it's all because of Shiva. Most of the wars between the asuras and the devas in Hinduism happen because Shiva, is a bit silly and decides to give a blessing to an asura. There are also many stories of devils and asuras getting moksha from worshipping Shiva. Even though they are horrible people, even though they do horrible deeds, but they just chant his name enough. And when they've done that, he eventually comes along and gives them moksha anyway, even though they are devils, even though they are horrible beings, right? And Shiva's ganas themselves. Gana can be translated in multiple ways. And most commonly, it's translated as shapeless, or something that is missing a shape, right? A formless being, an energy. But it can also mean not missing shape, but it can mean misshapen, something that is grotesque, something that is formed wrongly. Even Sadhguru says that the ganas are misshapen beings, and that they range from goblins to gargoyles. He said that Shiva has all kinds of grotesque followers, really. even in the Kalika Purana, it's said that the Ganas, that some of them have 5 eyes, that some of them only have 1, some of them have 4 or 5 arms, some of them only have 1 arm, and that some of them have 5 or 6 legs, and some of them only have 1 leg. So Shiva's Ganas are essentially, I hesitate to call them like demons, but they are like almost demonic creatures. They are literally described as goblins in both like the Bhairava Ashtakam, the song by Adi Shankaracharya. They are also described as being goblins in the Kalika Purana, right? So the beings that follow Shiva are not like good. They are these horrible, weird little dudes. And for Kali, the yoginis, the dakinis, and the yakshinis are known to be like very fierce. I've had a few times where a dakini hunts me in a nightmare. I have friends who have had similar experiences. And dakinis are like widely known to cause trouble. Like when you say dakini, then the Indians will go, no, we don't want anything to do with those because they are seen as like evil spirits. And yoginis are known to be, they are known to cause lust in men. They are known to try and seduce men and get them to spill their seed for them. Similarly to the myth of the succubus in Western mythos, and even similar to the fox spirits in Japan. And these spirits are the same. Like the yoginis, the succubuses, and the fox spirits are the same spirit, just appearing differently across cultures. And in Japan, you even have the dakini appearing directly. Like a dakini is still a spirit in Japan. It's still part of the folklore. And the dakinis are very closely related to the fox spirits. So the fox spirits, the yoginis, and the succubuses are the same spirit. And they are widely known to seduce men, to provoke lust, and to cause drama and pranks among people. They are not good spirits, they cause trouble. They are here to mess around with you and here to have fun. So when worshipping Kali, when getting into her like sadhana, you are not trying to be a good person. That's why, you know, Tantra, you have Vamachara Tantra, where you break all the rules, you break all the norms. And you approach all these beings essentially to make friends with them. For most people, the dakinis and the yoginis will cause trouble. But if you befriend them, they will be nice to you. And it's the exact same thing in Japan. It's widely known that the fox spirits will prank people and cause trouble. But if you befriend them, if you give them offerings, they will be nice to you. But my point is, like, right, Kali and her followers, they are not exclusively good. They are not virtuous. They don't seek to, you know, enlighten people or bring people closer to the truth. In fact, they exist to cause delusion. They exist to cause drama, and they exist to, you know, to prank people and to mess around and to have fun, because this is what gives life meaning. The same with Shiva and his ganas. The same with the asuras that Shiva gives blessings to. My point being that God is not exclusively good. God must be both good and bad, because if God is all there is, then how can we have something that is evil? How can we have bad, right? You can never explain evil without also admitting that God is evil. There is no other explanation. And in yoga and Hinduism, it is quite clearly stated in many places that Kali is not a good goddess. In fact, she can be quite mean. She can prank people a lot, and she can be quite horrible. She is death herself. She is the one who kills everybody. One time I asked Kali, how come you murder everybody, you kill everybody, and yet there is no karma for you, right? If a human commits murder, then obviously they will go to hell or something, right? But how come she can just kill everybody and she never goes to hell? Where is her karma? Where is her hell? Where is her punishment? And she said it's simple. She's God and she does whatever she wants to. There is no karma for her. And she also told me a joke, because Shiva means nothing. Shiva means he who is not, right? So she told me, let's say nothing commits murder, then it's not a crime, right? It's only a crime if someone does it. If no one does it, if nothing does it, then how can it be a crime? If a human stabs someone, then it's a crime because someone does it, right? But if a knife, let's say, falls from a roof on accident onto a person and kills them, then that's an accident, right? If a person does it, if a being does it, it's a crime. If no one does it, it's just an accident. Unless there's a person, it can't be a crime, right? So to beings who are beyond ego, beyond identity, beyond a limited form, there can no longer be karma. You can't catch no one. You can't catch Shiva, and you can't catch Kali either. And for some beings, they reach a state of realization where they realize they don't exist, right? This ego does not exist. I am not this body, I am not this mind. If this body commits a crime, then I haven't committed a crime. If this mind commits a crime, then I haven't committed a crime. If that's the case, then there is no longer karma. Even in the Nirvana Shaktam by Adi Shankaracharya, I can't remember which verse it is, but he goes, Napunyam Napanam, Napunyam Napapam, Nasaukyam Nadukyam, blah 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 blah, Shidana Rupa Shivoham Shivoham, which means I am neither my good deeds, neither am I my sins. I am the ever blissful consciousness, I am Shiva. So even in this song, Adi Shankaracharya sings, I am not my good deeds, neither am I my sins, right? I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am not this ego. So if this ego has done something good, then I haven't done something good. If this ego has done something bad, I haven't done something bad. I am not my good deeds, neither am I my sins. So there is no karma once you realize that you do not exist. That's also why, like, some people who are into left-hand path, and particularly like in the West, some of the, Satanists who do horrible things and never get caught, some of them have come to this realization. They realize, I don't exist. I can do whatever I want. And on one hand, that's a dangerous level of realization to reach. On the other hand, our world needs horrible people. Otherwise, it wouldn't be exciting. There has to be corrupt politicians. There has to be horrible CEOs that, abuse people. If the world was a perfect place, then wouldn't it be boring? From God's perspective, the goal of life isn't to create a perfect creation. The goal of life is to make a place that's exciting. There is a heaven somewhere up there where everything is perfect, right? But heaven already exists. The purpose of heaven is to have a place that's perfect. The purpose of hell is to have a place that's horrible. The purpose of earth is to have a place where things are balanced and where things are exciting. When you make a movie, you don't think this movie has to be perfect and good and nothing bad should happen in the movie. You think this movie should be exciting. It should awaken emotions in people, right? The goal of a movie isn't to be perfect or to be good or virtuous or for nothing bad to happen. The goal of a movie is to be exciting. So we have all kinds of movies, right? We have action movies where, a few bad things happen. We have horror movies where everything goes wrong. We have Titanic, where Jack drowns and dies and Rose, she cries. And everybody likes Titanic, right? Why do we love these movies that are horrible? Why do we love watching horror movies? Why do we love watching melancholic dramas and like heartbreaking stories? Why are we attracted to that? Why do we like it? Because deep inside us, we also do not care about virtue. We are not attracted to things that are perfect. We don't want to watch movies where everything, is right and nothing ever goes wrong. We want to watch a movie that's full of drama, that's full of trouble, that's full of nonsense. You have to admit that, right? We have never made a video game where you just like chill together and do nothing and peace out. We have made tons of video games where you shoot each other, where you kill each other, where you know, build castles and then you break each other's castles or whatever. We have tons of video games about war and destruction and chaos and drama and competition, right? If you look at sports, we have plenty of sports, you know, where people fight each other, where there's competition. I don't even think we have a sport where we don't compete. I don't even think we have a sport where there isn't conflict. Humans innately are attracted and addicted to conflict. That's why we are still in this game, why we are still in Maya. And deep down, if you didn't want drama, if you didn't want conflict, you would be in heaven. Heaven is for the people who have found peace. Heaven is for the people who are no longer addicted to drama and who truly just want to chill and have fun. But Earth is for the people who want life to be exciting, who want drama, who want trouble. Earth is for people who, you know, want to go fishing for God, who want to catch fish for Devi, and then they fish for 10 hours and they don't catch anything, and God just laughs at them. That is what Earth is for. This place is for drama, make no mistake. This place is for trouble. It will never be perfect, and it never has been perfect. Look at history. War and conflict. Civilizations rise and fall. Politicians have always been corrupt. Rich people have always been corrupt. It has never been any different. Earth is for drama and trouble. And if you truly want to be done with drama, then you should meditate and chill and truly purify yourself so you're no longer attracted to drama, so that you don't want to come back here, so that you simply want to go to heaven. And truly, if all you wanted was peace, if all you wanted was love, if all you wanted was joy, then you would not have an interest in this world anyway. The people who truly just want joy and love, they meditate, they realize it's inside. Look at the world, there is not a single person who is truly happy. Even the billionaires who have everything, they are miserable. The people who are truly happy, the only people who are truly happy, are the ones who live by themselves. Either people who have turned spiritual and have found joy within themselves, or the people who live life on their own, who live innocently, who do truly what they please, and only invite into their life what they truly care about. The people in life who are truly happy, they are selective. They choose only a few people who they love and who they want to be with. They choose only a few things they do that they truly love, and then they avoid all the drama. They filter out all the bullshit and the negativity. You do realize that the reason that people still engage with drama, with conflict, is because they are attracted to it. The people who no longer have this addiction, they either turn inward, they no longer care about the world, or they just create a small circle of friends and a life for themselves where they get to live in peace. The people who, you know, still watch the news, who still discuss politics, who still argue with people online, who, you know, the people who create conflict and maintain conflict are the ones who are addicted to it. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to make heaven. Everybody wishes that life was perfect, but everybody still engages in conflict and the things that make life not perfect. If you want a perfect life, then live for yourself. Then you can have life exactly as you want it, exactly as you please. But anyone who is truly honest with themselves will have to admit that they are addicted to drama. They are addicted to Maya. If you just wanted peace, then you would just live for yourself. You would turn off the news. You would stop arguing with people online. You would stop arguing with strangers. You would simply avoid all conflict and live by yourself. But people don't do that. People, they want drama. They keep watching movies about action and conflict and, you know, horrible things happening. They keep watching news about horrible things happening. They keep playing video games where they gotta shoot each other all the time. And they keep having drama in their life. They keep being with people who they don't like, who they have conflict with. They keep, you know, staying in relationships, in friendships, where they are unhappy. People are addicted to drama, to evil, to misery. And God knows this, okay? It is essentially your fault for being here. You're the one who chose to incarnate here. And now you're saying it's her fault, right? You're pointing fingers at God for making Earth a horrible place. And God says, no, you're the one who chose to come here, right? So to get back to my point, to sum it up, God is not exclusively good. She is super mean and evil sometimes. She's horrible. And essentially, humans are addicted to that drama. That is why they keep reincarnating. That is, we are attached to this world, right? When someone hurts you, you want revenge, right? You can't forgive the world, let it go and just move on. This is also why Jesus said that forgiveness is important to reach heaven, because forgiveness is how you let go of attachment. Let's say, like, you get killed one day, like by some dude. Then your soul leaves your body, and you're like, fuck, I hate that guy. I want to go back to Earth and get revenge, right? All the horrible things that happen to you have caused a reaction. And in one way or another, you cling to drama. Either because you are a victim of it and define yourself by it, or because you want revenge, or because you yourself want to cause harm to others. Humans have an addiction, an attachment to all this worldly drama and to all this suffering. If you didn't, you would just let it go. You would forgive everyone and you would just live by yourself and meditate. But you are the one holding on to all this suffering, the one reacting to it, the one defining yourself by it. Even very subtly, people who get stuck in victimhood, who define themselves as a victim, who think that life is out to get them, they have now defined themselves by suffering. And in that state of mind, you'll continue to attract more suffering, and you'll continue to incarnate into suffering. If you have defined yourself as a victim, then you will continue to manifest victimhood. You will continue to manifest oppression. I gotta get back on track and wrap this up. But my point is that you have to understand suffering. You have to see it as divine. You have to realize that it's her doing all that shit. And then, instead of reacting to it, instead of getting attached to it, you actually have to let it go. You have to forgive life. Whenever life hurts you, you should forgive life. You should forgive God, because it's God who hurts you. And the absolute best thing you can do, actually, to overcome suffering is to learn to laugh at suffering and laugh at yourself. Whenever life goes wrong, then laugh at it. Find a way to make it funny, because that will release the attachment. And ultimately, suffering has value, right? Imagine for a second that your life was perfect, that nothing ever went wrong. Then how would life be exciting? The very thing that makes life exciting is the fact that it can go wrong and that it does go wrong. The very thing that gives joy meaning is that we can see it in the contrast of suffering. So suffering is, in a sense, valuable. It holds meaning, it gives life meaning, and it makes life exciting. You have never wanted to watch a perfect movie. You have always wanted to watch a movie that is exciting, a movie that makes you feel something, right? People want to watch Titanic, they want to feel heartbroken, they want to cry. They like that deep down. People want to watch horror movies, they want to be frightened, they want to scream. They like that deep down. When you realize that life is a movie, then heartbreak will feel good. Being afraid will feel good. Being angry, being sad will feel good. People love listening to sad music. They love listening, reading sad poetry or whatever. When you engage with emotions through art, through music, like through movies, then you enjoy it because you observe those emotions and feel them. You don't take them seriously. When you feel emotion without attachment, it's always a joyful experience. If a movie makes you afraid and makes you piss your pants, then you were like, damn, that was fun, right? But you don't realize that life is a movie. Whenever life makes you afraid, you should also say, damn, that was fun, I pissed my pants. When a movie breaks your heart and you cry, you say, oh my God, that was such a heartbreaking and yet beautiful movie. When life breaks your heart, you should say the exact same thing. When a song or a poem or whatever makes you sad, and you say, oh my God, that's such a beautiful and sad song, and now you're happy about being sad because you're observing that emotion and experiencing it without attachment. You should do the same to life, right? When you simply observe an emotion without attachment, it's always a joyful experience because you are simply observing it. You are simply experiencing it. And deep down, you want to experience all things. You want to experience all spectrums of emotion and life. You don't want to be happy all the time. You truly don't. You also want to be sad sometimes. You also want to be angry sometimes. When you play a video game and you're shooting someone and you're getting, angry at your enemies and killing them, then that's fucking fun. But when life makes you angry, all of a sudden you feel bad. Instead, you should let that anger feel exciting. You should treat life like a video game. Whenever, someone posts something mean in my comment section, then back in the day I would get angry and sad. Now I get angry, but I'm happy. And I want to clap back at them and I want to talk shit. And I want to say something mean. I actually at this point enjoy being angry. I love it. Whenever someone talks down to me, or either in real life or online, I enjoy that because now I get to clap back. When you experience emotions without attachment, it's always exciting, it's always joyful. In all art and media, you enjoy every spectrum of every kind of emotion. You enjoy the entire spectrum of emotion because you are not attached to it. You realize it's a game, it's a movie, it's a piece of art. If you treat life the same way, if you see life as a movie, as a game, as a piece of art, then every emotion you experience will be incredible. It will simply be exciting. If you feel sad, you will be happy about being sad. If you feel angry, you will be happy about being angry. And once you no longer have attachment to negative emotions, once you can experience them fully, without judging them, without holding on to them, that is ironically exactly what will get you to heaven. If you are still attached to negative emotions, if you still demonize the world, then you will still be attached to samsara. As long as you demonize suffering, you will always attract more of it. In order to transcend it, you actually have to let go of it. You have to forgive it. I believe it was Buddha who said that a man who fears loss has already lost. When you are attached to suffering, you will suffer. When you let it go, that is when you can move on. As long as you still judge the world, as long as you still judge evil, as long as you still judge suffering, you will keep attracting more of it and you will keep incarnating here. And by doing so, when judging evil, when judging darkness, when judging bad people and bad deeds, you define yourself in opposition to it. In order to be free from that identification and that ego and to move on to heaven and higher dimensions, you have to let go of the suffering. You have to no longer define yourself by it. You actually have to simply observe it without judgment, without attachment. As long as you think Hitler is bad, Epstein is bad, Trump is bad, all these Elon Musk and whatever, all these billionaires are bad, then you will define yourself in opposition to that. You'll keep thinking about it. You'll keep attracting more of it, manifesting more of it. You actually have to let it go. That is the irony. In order to overcome samsara, in order to overcome earth and suffering, you have to accept suffering. You have to embrace it. You have to realize that it holds a place in creation, and you have to realize it's important. You have to actually be grateful for it. As long as you say Hitler is bad, Hitler is bad, Hitler is bad, you will keep thinking about Hitler. And what will your mind dream of? It will dream of Nazis, right? You have to let go of it. If a kid is having a nightmare and he dreams of, like, let's say, a monster, then as long as he wakes up and keeps being afraid of the monster, keeps judging the monster, he will keep having nightmares. In order to stop the nightmare, he has to let go of it. He has to forget the monster. Let's say you have a dream about, like, some evil dude, and you want revenge or you hate him, then you will keep dreaming of him, right? As long as your mind is still focused on it, keeps being attached to it, you will dream of it again and again. In the same way, life is a dream, and whatever you judge, whatever you demonize, whatever you hate, you will attract more of it. So if you are afraid of suffering, if you judge suffering, if you demonize evil people, you will keep attracting more of exactly that. That is the deepest irony, that in order to overcome suffering, you have to accept it. You have to be grateful for it. You have to enjoy it. And you have to understand that it has its role. You have to understand that the one who created Hitler is God. The one who created Epstein is God. The one who created Trump is God. God made all the good things, and God is all the good things. But God also made all the bad things, and God is all the bad things. Hitler is God. Epstein is God. And Kali made those people, okay? That is the perhaps deepest and most radical understanding of evil and suffering. And that is exactly why in Vamachara Tantra, you don't, and Agori, you don't shy away from these dark topics, you don't shy away from evil and from suffering, you seek to understand it. And you seek to realize that even suffering is God. It's her who created suffering. And it's her who created darkness and evil. And as long as you keep judging it, keep demonizing it, keep being afraid of it, you will attract more of it. You actually have to let it go. You have to love it. You have to be grateful for it. Once there is no longer attachment, then it will leave. But as long as you judge it, you are still holding on to it. So the ultimate key to transcending suffering, to overcoming samsara and evil and whatever, is actually to realize that it is God, and then letting it go. The world has never hurt me. Only God has hurt me, because God is the world. The world has never been evil. It's God who is evil. I gotta get my thoughts together and wrap this up. But to sum it up, this little baddie, is horrible. God isn't exclusively good. God is good and bad. She's horrible. Even in the Kalika Purana, Brahma worships Kali and tells her that she is the source of all virtues, but also the source of all vices. He even calls her Tamasi, right? Tamas being the dark energy that is said to be responsible for negative traits and for negative tendencies. He calls her Tamasi, the embodiment of darkness, of evil, of vice. So if even Brahma, the arguably purest and most virtuous and most responsible deity, if he can understand that Kali is both good and bad, that she is as sweet as she is horrible, that she is as good as she is evil, that she is as nice as she is malevolent, then you can too, and you should. And your life will be better for it, because you will understand that it is meant to be there. Anyways, I gotta wrap this up. Anyways, bless you, Jamar, and have a horrible time. I hope you suffer. I hope you have a very bad day. I hope you are in a lot of pain. And when that happens, I hope you realize who is responsible for it. I hope you realize that she is sitting right here, and I hope you realize that she is laughing. And one day, my friend, I hope that you too learn to laugh. Jamar, Jamar, Jamar.